What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. Just 4 headlines for you today, so not the longest update, but we'll get straight into it, starting with Pedro Porro once again, as Fabrizio Romano has been talking about it today, and he says Pedro Porro is top of the list for Spurs as a new right-back. Spurs will try and sign Porro as the player is keen on the move, but the sticking point is obviously the price, and what he did go on to say is that Sporting are not budging on this price, so maybe they will budge in the summer, but we'll see how that one plans out. And he also went on to say that Tottenham consider Pedro Porro the perfect player for Antonio Conte. So if you consider him the perfect player, why not just get him through the door straight away instead of, you know, potentially being beaten by some rivals?
Well, all I've got to say is congratulations, because my time machine works, because I get to do this every transfer window where we have a player that it's like the Adama Traore of last window, where it's going to drag on and drag out, and you just look at it, and like you said, Ben, when you hear these words, perfect player, it's clearly been identified by the club. You've had the break of the World Cup. You know what the price. You know what the price is. We need this right wing back problem solved immediately. Yet here we are, just dragging our heels again. And if the price is the price, like with Skriniar, pay the goddamn price. If they've been quite adamant that this is non-negotiable, yet Daniel Levy wants to negotiate.
I know, and it's just like, how long are we going to sit here and just read the same rumours out and the same news out every single time? All we're hearing is Sporting Lisbon or Sporting Club de Lisbon, whatever you want to call them, like, are not going to budge on that price. All we're hearing is that Spurs really want him through the door. And it's just like, if you really want him that much through the door, and if he's such a key cog to Antonio Conte's plans, then get him through the door. 40 million is not even like a big price in this day and age.
In this day and age, it's not. But you know what it is as well? What I find funny about this is when Levy sets the price, he goes, a player doesn't budge for this penny, like we would have imagined for Harry Kane. He sticks to it. It's like, right, you're not having my player for this amount of money, you can have him.
Yeah.
So why does he think all of a sudden that, oh, it says 40 million or whatever the price is, that means it's negotiable? It's lunacy.
It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating, especially how desperately we need players through the door. But I don't know what it is. I've just got a feeling that this is going to get done.
Don't do it to yourself.
I've got a feeling that this is going to get done. I've got a feeling that in this window we're going to see Emerson out the door and Porro in. I've just got a feeling.
I think you're half right. And I think that half is by Emerson. Listen, I want to see Porro here. I do. We've identified this.
I don't think we let Emerson go without bringing in a replacement.
Yeah, so it may not be Porro, it may be that. But then the perfect right wing back. If we bring in another one, I would wish to get this done. But again, been here, done that, got the T-shirt.
And ended up with Bentancur and Kulusevski.
Yeah, you could say that. So we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to wait and
Again.
see. Yes, again. But we are 6th of January, about a year ago since we had that big debate, and nothing seems to have changed.
No, the only thing that's changed is
Bentancur and Kulusevski.
Yeah, we had that investment that we didn't really spend. The 50 million, we don't know where that is. But, and yeah, here we are. Well, one thing I will say is big clubs are signing again. And we're sitting around here trying to negotiate a non-negotiable price tag.
Yeah. Let's move on and let's talk about another right wing back in the squad in Jed Spence. ESPN are claiming that Jed Spence looks increasingly likely to leave Tottenham on loan this month. At least 4 Premier League clubs, Hotspur, Leverkusen, are among the various alternatives for the defender. And in my opinion, if you're not going to play him, I think a loan to the Premier League is the best option for him.
Yeah, I mean, Danny was saying that earlier on today, wasn't he? It is, but this will go to show. You just said about Emerson leaving. We could be 2 right wing backs down.
Well, I mean, it's not really 2 because he's not using him anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true. But technically, it's
technically it is.
We've got Doherty left.
Yeah.
And then we could be in trouble unless you're doing the reverting Lucas Moura, or when they said Kulusevski could do there. I think if Spence doesn't get minutes tomorrow, that's done. He's out the door.
Do you think that's a big sign if he doesn't get minutes tomorrow?
I think it's a huge sign that if he doesn't go up, because you've got to remember as well, and the way I look at it as well, would another club who may be in the FA Cup want to be able to use him in the FA Cup? Will Spurs allow him to be in the FA Cup? But yeah, if he isn't starting tomorrow, he's gone out on loan, in my opinion.
Interesting. We'll have to see how this one plays out. Let's talk about Pape Matar now. As this one is from Fabrizio Romano, and he says Serie A side Salernitana are in talks to sign Pape Matar on loan from Tottenham. Still early stages, as also depends on the player decision as well. And the club's club director, Morgan De Sanctis, says that Sarr is the kind of player we need. He has the skills we want in that position, which is very interesting. The club director coming out and saying that already.
Yep, the fact that he's come out, that's big. But obviously, we heard that Conte's happy with him and been impressed with him since he's come back. Then we heard the interview or bits in the press conference today saying he's got to learn in the pecking order. So it's mixed messages, isn't it? And it's like, which one is true?
Well, both could be true. Both, I mean, Conte can still be happy with him, but still down the pecking order and maybe a loan for.
Yeah, but then you look at Ben. He can't say that he's been more impressed with him than Basuma, but then say off you go. Because if you're more impressed than Basuma, then you're going to want him to. You think rationally you'd want him to play.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like the two things about Conte being impressed with him and him being down the pecking order. I mean, they can both be true.
Yes, no, I could agree with that. I can see where you're coming from. I could agree with that. It's just, again, it's mixed messages, isn't it? One, the club's saying one thing, or let's believe one thing, and the media are saying another. Shock.
Would you entertain the thought of him going out on loan for the rest of the season?
Do you know what? I think, ask me that when we're here Sunday, because if he comes on and he has a good performance, we think he's going to start tomorrow. If he has a good performance tomorrow, then that's got to start putting questions in the thoughts of Conte. It's got to.
If it what's better for his development, to go to the Serie A and play week in, week out every single game in top flight in Italy, which is a very good league, obviously, or to play a bit part role in Tottenham and come on here and there and last 10 minutes, 20 minutes of games and play the odd game here and there in the cups?
It's a tough one for me, actually. It actually is a really, really tough one because I have been impressed with what I've seen. Should we get an injury or something, and he's there, that's security, that's an insurance policy. But going out and getting minutes again, I wouldn't mind him going out to a championship team or a lower Premier League team, getting minutes in England, which is vital. It's a real tough one for me. But I think if he comes on and has a good showing tomorrow, that may dampen this deal.
A bit like Brian Hill, we heard everything. Brian Hill's going to be going out in January now after one good half, that's all been squashed apparently. But Pape Matar apparently in talks with Serie A side Salernitana in terms of a loan move this January. And last but not least, we've got some quotes from Heung-min Son about playing with the mask. And he says, it's not the same as when I play without the mask. My vision is still okay, but when the ball is coming to me, it's sometimes annoying because I can't see the ball because of the mask. It's not really bothering me, but it's not the best. How can he say it's not really bothering him when he can't see the ball hardly?
With the reports now, hasn't he? He's catching.
And then he goes on to, he's talking about his parents. He says, they didn't say you should wear it or whatever, but we're having dinner after the Villa game and they said, what happened to the mask? Obviously they're worried, and the physios and the doctors said after the Villa game, it's your decision, but we recommend you should still be wearing the mask because the risk is still high because it's just 7 weeks since the operation. What do you reckon about those quotes from Sonny?
What a crazy amount of things to take in. I can understand with the vision, with the ball coming in so quickly, and especially this. I can see that, and he got very aggravated with it against Villa, didn't he? He literally threw it off.
And even when he scored against,
he threw it off, kind of like what Harry Kane did when he scored against Arsenal. But it's a very different mask to the one Harry Kane was wearing. Obviously, I myself, see, I did that. With an injury like that, I would be. It's one of those injuries where you take that mask off and you're worried about jumping for anything. You get an elbow, you get anything unintentionally or whatever. It's got to put doubts in your mind because that could have been a very, very, very nasty, serious injury. So it's hard to gauge. But obviously, he seems to be taking it off more often during the game now. He didn't put it back on after the goal, I don't think, did he? I think he threw God knows where.
No, he did. He did.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he came out second half though against Villa with the mask on. Did he or not?
I can't remember. But you think that's the thing. It's kind of insurance for me. That's an injury. Like you come back from a hamstring or something, you're going to run and do everything. But when it's your eye, you're going to protect it. Like, kind of like with Peter Cech with his with there. It must have been the first time when he takes it off. It's got to be worried if he hits his head at home.
But it's worrying when he says that he can't see the ball in certain stages. That's worrying.
It's quite important in his job to be able to see that ball. Who knows? It's good to hear some quotes, though. It's nice to hear his parents going, "Where's the mask?" Always the overprotective parents.
Yeah, but hopefully he can get that mask off soon. But that is your Tottenham update today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.
Spurs.